Hello, everyone. I know it's late. It's like 10:12 p.m. Of course, as you know, I'm not battling with COVID, but I have some remnants left. So I'm coming out of that. And so I'm doing this a little late. Plus, I had to work today. I do work, I have a job. And so I wanted to come on here and I really wanted to do a review or a commentary on the Real Housewives of Potomac. And I know a lot of other YouTubers have beat me to it. I want you to know I'm not always trying to beat YouTubers to anything. I'm just doing this because I enjoy doing it. And also because when I'm watching the show, I have a lot of thoughts about it and I like putting my thoughts out there mainly. I'm going to go ahead and get started. But before I do, I want to share with you I will be back on tomorrow night to do the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills whenever they go off. I did not do the other ones, of course, because I have been ill. And also, I had the opportunity to look at some other commentaries and reviews, and I developed or I adopted some of the other YouTubers' thought processes on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I don't always like to do that before I commit to doing my own video. And when I do the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I'll be doing the new episode, which comes on tomorrow night. And I will also just add some trinkets from the previous episodes, the previous two episodes that I didn't get to put out here on YouTube. And it'll just be the highlights. It'll just be the highlights. Okay. So come on in the room. Come on in the room. I'm going to play my favorite song. That's another thing. I really got to change my intros. I'm going to change them. They're a little bit solemn. So I am going to change them. But I have my favorite intro here that I'm going to do for you. Where is it? Can I find it? Oh my goodness. Who knows? Okay, here it is. Okay, so here we go. It is the Real Housewives of Potomac, you guys. So let's go. The name of this episode is The Goddesses of War. And I didn't write down which episode it was in terms of numbers. Normally I do that. I'm surprised at myself. Forgive my voice. I'm still struggling with my voice from having the COVID. And I think it's because I didn't use it as much. And so it's kind of, I guess, trying to get back to normal. um, so I just want to start out here by saying they pick up where they left off. Candiace and Ashley are having a big debate, and Candiace is really body shaming Ashley. You know, these people are on live TV, and it has to be embarrassing some of the things that a person like Candiace would say to you in the midst of a million people. The show is being televised and she's just making these comments. and this is not all acting. She really doesn't like Ashley because Ashley wrote a letter against her. Get over it. Ashley has the right to do that. Anyone has the right to write a letter to the court about an experience that they had with you if need be. It shows your character. And you're showing even more of that character when you continue to behave the way you do on here, Candiace. I want to say, Gizelle, I have figured it out. Gizelle is the most, now Gizelle is in her 50s, you guys, and she looks like she's in her 50s. Giselle is so immature and insecure that it's embarrassing. I'm in my 50s. It's embarrassing. She is just, I don't even know. She's sitting there, and she made some comment whenever they were debating and arguing, and it just reminded me of those two characteristics of her. But I digress. Candiace goes on. She continues. She calls Ashley, "You brought your big A face," and she used the A double S word, "your big A face, your big A forehead, and something about your milk." S- She body shamed and mother shamed this woman to the T. This is not what Housewives started out to be. If anyone knows anything about Housewives, I watched Real Housewives of Orange County when it first came on with Vicky Gumbelson, with Gina, with I can't remember Lori and all of those other people who were there, Slade, and I watched it for that. I liked the Real Housewives of Orange County. And then you have the other ones that came along, and people began to watch because of the fights and the arguments and the debates and the lack of adulthood, really. It's the lack of adulthood. Because before these shows, my girlfriends and I, we would sit around and we would say, we've never thrown a drink at each other when we were sitting across the table. It's like, who does that? I digress. Candace is really body shaming Ashley. She's mother shaming her. It is this is so derogatory. I cannot even stand it. Candace is evil. This is evil, you guys. And I know people want to look at it and laugh and make light of it. There's nothing light about doing that to someone. And the only reason she backed up and apologized, I believe, is because at some point she heard herself speaking and heard how ignorant it was going to come across the television screen. That's what I think. Ashley was, this is what I taught my kids as well. But I taught them, if you're in a debate with someone, make sure you're in your right mind. You want to say things that make sense. You don't want to call them the worst name in the world just because they called you the worst name in the world. You want to look at it from a sober perspective. And that's how I taught them. And they've done that. That's what Ashley reminded me of because she talked about Candace's personality and her character whenever she said, "You know what? These comments are tired." She told her, "You're tired." She didn't resort to calling her names. Although, whenever Candace said, I always talk about your forehead, she said, "And I always talk about your dry ass hair." You know, I mean, I thought that was okay. Candace is sitting there taking cheap shots at her. So Candace needed someone to throw a cheap shot back at her. Gizelle intervenes and she raises a toast to Robyn because she says that when I told everybody that was your birthday party, everybody was so glad to come. And they just said that, yeah, sure, it's Robyn, Robyn, yes, I can't wait to come. And I just want to say that to be that kind of person is a testament to who you are. Cheers. I Okay, Gizelle. You guys, I'm going to say this every episode too. I'm ready for Robyn to be gone off the show. I'm so tempted. I don't want to because I don't want to hurt somebody else's bag. I know what it's like to have a hurt bag. I really do. And I don't want to do that to somebody else, but I don't think I would be hurting her bag if I wrote to Andy and told him, listen, Robyn, this has got to be her last season. This is not what we watch Housewives for. We watch Housewives. We want to live vicariously through them. Robyn is an average, everyday woman, very average, everyday woman. Give her a spin-off to go do something else to help her bag. Housewives is not it. And I dare say I want them to get rid of Gizelle because the only ones really who had the bag large enough to be a housewife were Karen, Monique, because Monique's household is worth like 20 some $1 million. So she had the bag. That's why I hated it when she couldn't control herself enough to keep her hands off Candiace. But Candiace is so tempting. It's just tempting to just knock her out. Not me, not me. You know, I'm not that kind of girl, but I understand, you know. Um, who else Wendy. I like Wendy this season. I like her from the point she got Gizelle told up until now. I'm really digging on her. I love her. Um, and I'll get into that here shortly. I just wanted to make the point that it's time for Robyn to go. I don't want to give Robyn a birthday party. I don't want to see her and Juan get married. If they get married, that's fine. That's great. That's dandy. I just want her off the show. She's nothing to live vicariously through. Where are the diamonds? Where's the Benz? Where's the car that's out of this world? Where is the Lisa Vanderpump type of style? It's just, I don't know why she's here. I digress. Mia goes and she says, I want to invite you all to a goddess lunch. And Wendy and Karen are going to be there. So she lets them know that. She also says that she would like for Karen and uh, Gizelle to make amends. And Gizelle says that that's not going to happen. Her and Ray will be, you know, what Gizelle said before she apologizes. That shows that's immaturity, guys. That comment is immaturity. What woman in her 50s makes a comment like that about anybody, saying somebody will be dead before I apologize? It's a loose, inappropriate, irresponsible comment to make about somebody. Um, I was looking at the ladies in this scene. I was looking at their skin. And of course, Ashley and Candiace are the youngest at the table. So their skin is still very vibrant. They really do not need Botox or anything. The other ladies, I was looking at them, and a lot of people have been talking about Mia's skin. I dare say Robyn's skin is no different than Mia's skin. Robyn gives me Robyn looks as old as what people say about Mia. Robyn gives me old white woman vibes. She really does. She gives me like old, pale vibes. Um, and they need to replace her for real. I mean, if you want old white woman vibes, go get you a wealthy Potomac white woman and bring her on the Real Housewives of Potomac and just move Robyn out of the way. Let us see what they're really doing there in Potomac with their politics, with their wealth, and all of that. Next, Surry County is in Karen, you guys. Karen is shooting a Surry County video in Potomac. Her cousin David is there. Her family is in Surry County. And I believe that Karen's family in Surry County, I came from a small town, right? And in small towns, you do have certain families that stand out with wealth, and they are the representatives of the neighborhood, and they participate in the chamber of commerce, and everyone knows it. It's that small town vibe. And that's what Karen's family gives me. They're the ones in Surry County who has it going on. They're the Black family in Surry County that people like, and that people look at and say, and everyone knows, and they have a good reputation. That's kind of what they give me if I were to match it to the way that I was raised. Karen, they show some flashbacks of Surry County, and if you notice, the dress she's shooting in this commercial is the same dress that she wore when she accepted the ambassador award for Surry County. It was the same dress. I digress on that. The producer puts up a caption and is speaking and says, "Why are you doing your Surry County video in Potomac?" And Karen says, she pauses, puts her head down, because Karen can sometimes give some BS answers, you guys. She really can, but I love her anyway. She's still the queen, but she can give some BS. And this was a BS answer, okay? She says, You know what? Wherever I am, Surry County is in me. So wherever I go, there is Surry County." I was dying laughing. I was like, "Okay, Karen, whatever, girl." You know, And then as they're shooting the commercial, Trader Joe's is all over in large cities. We have a couple here in Charlotte, and there are others, in other parts of the country. So Karen keeps saying Trader Joe's instead of Farmer Joe's. So you can tell there must be a Trader Joe's in Potomac because she keeps saying Trader Joe's. And the council person who was there helping shoot the commercial keeps reminding her it's Farmer Joe's. And she's like, "Oh, Farmer Joe's." Then she goes on to say, we have peanuts, we have this, we have that in Surry County. And with the peanuts, she says, a lot of people don't know this, but peanuts come in a shell, in a hull. Who told her that people did not know that peanuts come in a hull? We know peanuts come in a hull, Karen. Most people know that. I don't know. It's the country in her. Then they do the caption that says, "Not an actual depiction of Surry County." And then they move on. Okay. And next we have Gizelle. Gizelle is having a conversation with her girls. On this episode, this scene right here was my favorite. I know a lot of people like the ending. We're gonna get to that here shortly because I'm not gonna keep you guys long. Thank you for coming on. It'd be nice if you would get down in the comments and tell me what you think about Real Housewives of Potomac. It's interesting because people come over here to my channel. I go on to other channels and I see people commenting, and they are commenting about the content, and their comments make sense. You can tell they really watch the content. I come over here, I'm on my channel, and I get zero comments, but I can clearly see there are people, probably some of the Google eyes, or even the people I work for. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's just weird. It's just weird how the numbers are are not working for my videos. I can tell it's being done intentionally. But that's okay because I prayed to God and he's going to get you. Okay? At any rate, they are Gizelle, this is my favorite scene. Gizelle and her daughters are talking about the trip that they just arrived from. And it sounds like they all got together at the Four Seasons with Jamal for some type of holiday. So I'm wondering, okay, what holiday was this? Because they all got together with Jamal at the Four Seasons, which is a great hotel, by the way. Great food. Grace is really growing up. She's going to be a junior, and they're talking about her going to college. One of the twins asked Gizelle, "Do you want to get married again?" And Gizelle tells them, "No." She says, she doesn't really want to go through the process of getting a divorce and having to worry about money. Which, I know a lot of people think that was a good answer. Um, I just think it was an answer to save face from the fact that she really, really does wanna be married again, but she doesn't wanna look desperate on the television, and she I think she does wanna be married again. Why are you talking about being married again and then mentioning divorce? Talk about being married again and having it last forever. Say, if I do get married again, I would want it to last forever. I wouldn't want to have to go through divorce because divorce is painful. It's like a death. And she reminds them of how her parents, who she called Granny Joe and Pops, and how after their divorce, after so many years, her parents were married like 30 some years. And after being married that long, they divorced, you guys. Her parents only they divorced like at some point right after Real Housewives of Potomac came on. That's when they got a divorce. So Gizelle was grown and had her daughters, and her parents were divorcing. There's a lot of that going on. But she tells them, I did like when she told them, listen, you cannot lose yourself and lose your dreams. So she doesn't want them to lose themselves in a man. And I do agree with that. I like that advice. So I liked that moment with her and her daughters. Her daughters are such beautiful young women. I just really like them. They're so sweet and innocent, and I just really like them. So the next scene is at Candiace's house, which is really quite a bore. So I'm going to talk about it as much as possible, and then move on. I wondered when I was looking at Candiace, is that one of Robyn's caps? Because Robyn makes caps, and I was wondering if that was one of them because it was camouflage. So, Sharon Swain, you say that Real Housewives of Potomac, this episode was boring to you? Or am I boring? Sorry if I'm boring. I'll try to like, you know, amp it up some. But Chris, well, let's go ahead. So Candace asked Chris, "Are you drinking?" And it's like about 4:30 in the day. It's okay. It's after 12. I think it's okay to drink after 12. Sometimes I get with my girlfriends, or before the pandemic anyway, and we would have a drink, after 12. So 4:30 drink is okay. Bravo is doing flashbacks about the last episode where Chris told Candace that she needs to give him an allowance. Isn't she already giving you an allowance? She's already giving you an allowance, Chris, because you're living in a house that is in her mother's name. You also lived in a different condo or townhome that was also in her mother's name. What's the allowance? And is Chris angry that he has to work? Because he tells her it's the tone he uses when he tells her he cannot attend the video shoot because he has a job and he feels like his life doesn't matter as much as hers, or it doesn't matter to her as much as her life matters. And I'm thinking he's saying it in such a tone like he's upset that he has a job. I, I digress. That Candace starts crying, she grabs a tissue, then she throws the tissue at him, and then they hug it out in marital love. Okay. Next, we have Wendy at her home with Cruz, Carter, and Cameron. Those are her kids. Cameron is so adorable. Oh my gosh. I love Wendy's family. I do. I love them together, and I just love them. Even though last season she got on my nerves, I have in the past couple of episodes grown to really love her. So she wants to take some time and talk to the kids about police violence against blacks. And I think this is an important conversation. And this is a conversation I had to have with my son when I remember when he was 13. He's in his 30s now, early 30s. and I had to have this conversation with him. So I agree with Wendy. It is a shame. It's terrible because as Black parents, we have to break our children's innocence. We have to break their innocence in having these conversations with them. And I always say the policemen are held accountable by God. Being a policeman doesn't give you permission to go out and murder people and to abuse and to be violent against people because of color. It absolutely does not. For some reason, they think it does, and it doesn't. The Bible talks about murderers, and it talks about particular characters who will not be in the kingdom. And for some reason, these dudes think that they're police and they can do this. So Wendy's, wanting to have this conversation. I really like that Eddie, I love that Eddie, their dad, is there to initiate the conversation because Cruz and Carter are, those are two young men. Cameron is probably not paying the conversation any attention. They're going to have it again with her. But, you know, and the dialogue that they're having, I don't know which one it was, but it was either Cruz or Carter who has a response that was just it made me tear up because he talks about Martin Luther King and he talks about how he could change things. So the innocence in him of wanting to grow up and change the way things are now. And he said, um, so that blacks or whites won't be a threat and will not be hurt. That's what he said, you guys, the innocence. I loved it so much. You know. So next we're going to go, I think it is when Karen and Ashley meet at this restaurant called Khalid Social Restaurant. Karen is determined to win over Ashley's children, right? Remember when Baby Dean, it is so hilarious. Baby Dean burst out crying whenever he saw Karen. Just burst out crying. But Karen and Ashley did not used to get along. Karen and Ashley, um, when they first met, Karen point blank told Ashley, and this is when Karen's daughter, before her daughter went to college, she told Ashley she didn't want her daughter around her, that Ashley was not the kind of young woman she would even allow her daughter to go around. And so to see how far they've come now is a beautiful thing. It shows a lot of, good energy that Karen is trying to put out there. Karen and Ashley, they've come a long way and uh, they start to talk. Ashley is talking to Karen because she's trying to mend the relationship between Karen and Gizelle. And she asks Karen the question. She says, have you recovered from the trip? This is the trip they took to Williamsburg. And Karen goes into telling Ashley about what happened with Wendy and Gizelle after she left in Williamsburg, and how Gizelle was kind of body shaming Wendy for upgrading her body. And then Karen goes on to say, Giselle has been wiggling that fat vagina in front of us for years, and ain't nobody said anything. No, Karen, not the fat vagina. No, that was hilarious. Um, so okay, let's see here. I'm sorry, you guys. I lost my place. I got to get back to my place. My voice is like really bad. I really need to be in the bed because my voice is just like really, really, really bad. It's bothering my chest a little bit, and I don't want to have that happen again. I need to drink more water. But the next scene, Robyn is seeing a life coach. And every time I have to talk about Robyn, I'm going to say it's time for her to go. I want them to even take her and give her a spin-off where it's her, Juan, and the boys just doing something over there, and whoever wants to go watch it can watch it. I just want her off here. And she's trying to create this storyline of depression, you know? Anyway, she meets with her life coach. The life coach says, well, when we last spoke on the phone, you said that you haven't been motivated. Tell me about that. Robyn starts to tell her that she is afraid of trust. She has trust issues because of the history that they had with a previous friend, and she's also afraid of success. Now, Robyn gives this crybaby story every season. Every season, you guys, she gives this crybaby story about their friend, and their friend committed suicide. So I'm just trying to figure out how much longer is Robyn going to drag a dead man? She drags this man and he has committed suicide. She drags him every season. He's he's the reason for her depression now. He's the reason she's afraid. She doesn't want to be taken advantage of anymore. The whole thing is, I think that Juan is pissed off about all that money that she lost. And the rumor was, you guys, she was sleeping with the guy, allegedly. That was the rumor. People haven't said much about that anymore, but the rumor is that was her side piece. And that's why last year when they were in therapy, Juan was like, it's not just me, it's you too. So I am just done with Robyn. I am just like, move her, just get her away. Okay. She doesn't have a storyline. She just has her head so far up Gizelle's behind. It's not even funny. She only does what Gizelle wants her to do. And so she doesn't even have a beef with anybody. But we'll see when we get to the goddess lunch, right? She pretends to have a beef with people and she doesn't. It's Gizelle's beef and she's taking it on. It's just pathetic. Um, anyway, she said she mentions the fact that she has a fiance, so that prompts the life coach to ask her, "So are you spending your days making wedding plans?" So now she says no because she couldn't get married because of the pandemic. Do you know how many people got married during the pandemic? Surely not as many as before, but people were getting married during the pandemic. Even people, I was on YouTube a lot. People were having private YouTube ceremonies with the minister 6 feet in front of them and just the two of them on some ocean in Florida somewhere. And they had flowers and they had a bridesmaid and a groom and four people at the wedding, and they got married. So for Robyn to blame the pandemic, and even people were having big weddings. Look at Cynthia's wedding. She got married during the pandemic. They did not have a COVID outbreak either. I think Portia ended up with COVID, but it didn't have anything to do with Cynthia's wedding. Um, so she blames the pandemic. I want Robyn to go. I just don't want this is not this is not a real housewife. This is not a real housewife story. It just isn't. Girl, bye. I know women like you. I mean, and not that that's a bad thing, but I don't want to see them on TV. Um, Anyway, I digress with that. Okay. Next, we finally are at the end, you guys, almost anyway. Uh, Mia's party planner is setting up and putting on Mia's halo for the goddess party or the goddess lunch. Wendy walks in and Wendy looks really beautiful. She really looked like a goddess. And Mia looked like a goddess too. Those were two, is a light skinned goddess and a chocolate goddess. Okay. Wendy and Mia have really softened their heart to each other, and I like that because they did not get off to a really good start this season. In fact, those were the two major arguments, and we thought that was going to last the whole season, and it didn't. I mean, the whole episode, yeah, this whole season. At any rate, I like that their relationship has mended. They were my favorites. I know a lot of people liked Ascala when she came in to the goddess and her outfit and everything. Um, my favorite look on Ascala was when she had that red. I think it was like back when they were in Williamsburg. She did that. She looked gorgeous. In this episode with the goddesses, she looked beautiful, but my favorites were Mia and Wendy. And what did Karen have on? Karen had on this pantsuit that was tight, showing off her bod, and I I don't know. Karen looked beautiful though. She did look beautiful. Candiace arrives, and Candiace's hair is short. I thought Candiace looked beautiful. I think Candiace has a beautiful face. She's a beautiful, beautiful girl. And I thought the hairdo made her look too old, and she's young. I think she's the youngest one on the show, and it made her really look almost like the oldest one on the show, but she still looked beautiful. Just I wish she had done something else with her hair. Gizelle arrives, okay? I will say I liked Giselle's fashion for the goddess party. I know people talk about her fashion a lot, but I really liked the gown. Robyn arrived. I did not like Robyn's hair. You guys, I need to stop hating on Robyn. I know. I just don't want her on the show. It's not that I dislike her. I think she's a beautiful girl. It's just her lifestyle is not what I want to see. I want to escape. When I look at the Real Housewives, I want to escape. I do. I'm looking to escape. And looking at Robyn, I'm just like, gosh, she makes me feel as bad as I do. So I just don't want to have her on the show. She's depressing. And at any rate, I did like Giselle's fashion. Um, I didn't like Robyn's hair. I know Karen complimented her on her dress when she walked in. I think Karen was really being very nice because I was trying to figure out what that was that she was wearing. What is it? Okay. And the color was not good for her skin. It was a navy blue. Who wears navy blue? Does anyone like navy blue anymore? It's like, uh, I just didn't like it. I liked her earrings though. Her earrings were nice. And she has gorgeous eyes always. Her eyes are gorgeous. So at least she can carry those around with her. Gizelle, uh, Candiace arrives and she's talking about her video. They're all sitting down at the table. Gizelle asks if Ashley's going to be in the video. And Candiace says, no, she wasn't invited. And Ashley says, we respect each other's space. Okay, who's gonna watch? Oh, who's gonna watch Robyn's spinoff? I don't know. I'm just trying to find a space for her. I'm just trying to find a space, Sharon. Just help me find a space for her because I don't want her on here. I'm just like, what is wrong? Who brought Robyn on? I don't remember. And I've been watching this from season 1, right? And I'm trying to remember what they said in the beginning and how she got here. She was friends with Charisse. You guys, Robyn was friends with Charisse. And Charisse had money because her husband was that big time coach millionaire, right? So and Robyn and Charisse, I don't know if they are both Deltas or if they both went to the same university or something. They're connected and they have the same friends. So and Robyn used to work in public relations. So that's how she got. Well, Charisse is not there anymore, so Robyn needs to go. Okay. Charisse is really the reason for all these ladies coming together, period. She was friends with Karen, Gizelle, Robyn, and I don't know how Ashley came on the show. I think that's just someone that someone knew as a producer or something. I can't remember. Or Ashley knew about it and she wrote the show. And then Ashley brought Candiace on. And I think one of the producers brought Monique on. Anyway, so Mia has them all go around the table to say what they love the most about each other. Everyone around the table. They're supposed to say it about each other and everyone around the table. That never happened. Like, for example, Candiace was to talk about what she loves about Ashley, what she loves about Mia, Wendy, Karen, Gizelle. That's how the wording was when Mia said it. But it ended up being so shady because you could tell they set it up so that Ashley and Candiace could say what they thought about each other. And so Ashley says she compliments Candiace on her um, dreams, and Candiace compliments Ashley on her motherhood. And then they shade each other in their confessionals. Whatever. It was supposed to be the other way, but they ended up doing it with the people who had the most beef with each other. Robyn again is taking up space. She talks about what she loves about Karen. She loves how Karen can always make herself laugh, and she just really likes that. And Karen says, "Well, you know what, Robyn, I get that from you." How, Karen? How do you get that from Robyn? How do you get that from Robyn? Um, anyway, Karen, then Robyn says to Wendy, "I just love how, you know, your passion for your family." And that's all I'm going to say about that. She's acting like she has beef with Wendy. It's Gizelle who has the beef with Wendy, but Robyn has to go and implement herself in it. That is just, she's so, oh my goodness, girl, bye. Mia talks about how she loves how wise Karen is and how Karen is always willing to take someone under her wing. Karen thanks her for that. And then she says it real quickly. Then she goes on and tells Gizelle to say something nice to Karen. Gizelle initially had nothing nice to say to Wendy. And someone said something about I love. Let me see. I can't. No, I wrote this. This is mine. I'm sorry. I like how Mia put this together, right? Because she had them all do this, even though it didn't work out. It ended up being good, but we'll see next as the season goes along that they end up having beef again. Some of them. Gizelle accused Karen of destroying families. She tells Wendy, you're talking about me destroying families. That ain't me, that's Karen. Karen has not destroyed anyone's family. Let's just be real clear about that. Gizelle is just, I don't know. I don't know if the producers yank her chain and tell her to say these things because she lies profusely. She even lied whenever they were asking her about Jamal, and she says that she already knew that Jamal had clued her in to the fact that he was seeing somebody else. So if Jamal clued you in on the fact that he was seeing someone else, how is it that Karen destroyed your family? Make it make sense. It doesn't. She says that the news that uh, from Monique's binder was not news to her at all. She didn't use Monique's name, but she was basically saying that the information that Monique exposed about Jamal cheating with another woman was not news. She says that was not news. That info about that girl, the woman, first, Jamal told me about it. And Candiace was like, "Oh, why didn't you tell us then?" If that was the case, if you go back and you look at that season, you will see that Giselle's whole face turned pale whenever that binder came out and when Monique started spewing out all that information about Jamal cheating. It's just like she is just a pathetic liar. Grow up, woman. Grow up. Karen told her, "You brought a whole lie to the group." And then she goes, see there, right there. So she doesn't like that Karen is telling her that it's a lie. That's why she interrupted right after Karen said, "You brought a whole lie to the group." And Gizelle goes, "See, look at her right there, right there." So when she pointed that particular comment out, that lets me know that the issue about the lie is what is getting to her. It's not that Karen destroyed her family, it's that Karen exposed her. Karen needs to stick to her thoughts. Although I'm glad she apologized because once you apologize to someone, sometimes what that does is they have to sit in it. They have nothing else on you. They can't say anything else because you've apologized. So I'm glad that Karen apologized. At the same time, Karen needs to stick to her guns on a lot of things that she says because sometimes she double talks. She'll say something, then she'll go backwards. I don't know where that comes from. And this thing with forcing apologies, you should apologize to me for this and you should apologize to me. Stop forcing apologies. A forced apology is not an apology. It's not. And Karen really did not owe her an apology. I would have come up with another way to, you know, kind of mend hearts or mend fences. But she didn't owe her an apology. But in a sense, I'm glad that they did it because now Gizelle has nothing else. The woman has apologized, so you can't even say anything else about that. They start doing flashbacks of all the times that Gizelle has apologized to Karen, and I remembered all of those flashbacks. So Gizelle and Karen were friends, and things just went left because whenever the issue with the taxes came up, Gizelle kept harping on it, and Karen did not like that because Karen and Ray are very reputable figures there in Potomac. She does a lot of charities, or she did even before the Real Housewives of Potomac. She was involved in charitable organizations and, a lot of different things going on. And so that's it. We see next week that Candiace's mom is going to be on. I think Candiace's mom should be a housewife instead of Candiace. I really do. I mean, her mom is married. It's her second marriage, but she's married, so she is a housewife, and she is the age of many of these women. She's in her 50s, and she's the one with all the money. They need to bring her on and get rid of Robyn, and they can even leave Candiace on, but they just need to get rid of Robyn. I actually, Sharon, I don't know what you mean when you say they all backpedal. The ladies do not all backpedal. I don't know what that means. Especially Candiace. Candiace never backpedals. So I don't know where that's coming from. Um, at any rate, that was this episode. And I need to work on my content and how I present it. I know this, I know this, I know this. And I am going to be doing that. Tonight, my throat has been bothering me. I've been talking all day because I worked today, and it's beginning to affect my chest to some degree. So I'm going to go pray that the Lord removes all of this out of my system because I just don't even like the fact that I had it. I don't even like the fact that I had that thing. But I'm going to come on here. I'm going to do Real Housewives of Beverly Hills either tomorrow night, or it'll have to be tomorrow night because Thursday night is my workplace channel. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the workplace channel, but it's Vlog Spear Talk. If you know people who like to talk about work and the issues that they're having, or if they like to talk about work and how to help other people not to have those issues, bring them on to Vlog Spear Talk. I'm going to put it down here in the comments. Um, I have work issues and they are legitimate. And I'm going to tell you, I no longer even care. I no longer even care. I don't like corporate America. I don't like working for companies at all. I'm doing my best to get the hell up out so that I can just do whatever it is that I want to do. But this was the Real Housewives of Potomac, and we will see where it goes next week. Next week, Candiace will do her video. Her mom's going to be there, and her mom's going to be talking crap about Chris. And Chris is going to show up in his apron. It's just, I mean, dude, he's in a forum where he can promote his website, where he can promote his chef ideas, where he can create recipes, all kinds of things, and he's just walking around like an angry white man. you know? At any rate, you guys have a good night, and have a great day tomorrow, and we will see you in the next one. Many blessings to you.